What atheists did is that when they had power, they forcibly converted people to disbelief. The communists did this in China, the Soviets did this, the communists in Europe did this. And before we got into this topic, you spoke about bloodshed, spoke about the toxic effects of religion. Well, atheism's no better, because more people have died under atheist rule than have died in all of the religious wars. It's
impossible.
So I'll give you a stat. 100 million people at least died under communist regimes in the last 100 years. And 100 million people have not died in religious wars throughout human history.
So there are several things wrong here already. Firstly, the world population has increased dramatically in the 20th century. So what he calls death by atheist rulers occurred at a time where the world population was larger, so it's not comparable. Also, modern wars are distinct from ancient wars in that more advanced weaponry is used, which could kill more people. This is another reason why they are incomparable. He talks about communism being atheist. It's true in that there's no God belief, but it's still a religion. Here are definitions of religion. You can see here that communism and National Socialism, with their rituals and their devotion to a leader, have far more in common with a theocracy, like a religious country, than they are to a secular humanist atheist country like in Scandinavia.
The scientific torch was not held by atheists. It was held by theists for a long time in history. So first we need to define science. So science is the application of reason to the natural world, in which you use observations to come up with theories, and you test those theories against observations. You try and falsify until you have a confirmed set of beliefs. You have a confirmed set of things that you can put together in a broader theory. This basic idea is not something which was put forward by atheists. This is something which only in the 20th century and the 21st century have atheists woken up and said, actually, we are quite a scientifically literate people. Prior to this, it was the Muslims, and then it was the Christians, and atheists came late at the party, but they want to claim they're behind this.
More scientists were theists than atheists in the past because more people were theists than atheists. Atheism has become more prevalent due to greater scientific knowledge, reducing the God of the gaps argument, and through a reduction in the power of religious institutions.
Islam, being one of the sort of newer religions, had very, very little to do with science.
That's absolutely not true. I'll give you evidence, because you're speaking from your experience, but I'm going to give you evidence. Okay. So Hassan ibn Haytham, he was a Muslim theologian and a scientist. He lived about 1,000 years ago, and he is the one who helped us modernize the scientific method. So if you go look up the history of science, you will see he is mentioned as somebody who developed not just scientific ideas, but the scientific method itself. And this goes back way before Galileo, Newton and Bacon and all of these guys. So the history of science and the infusion of philosophical concepts to help enhance science was done by Muslims for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And for you to downplay their contribution just simply shows your lack of knowledge of this historical era.
Hassan ibn Haytham was undoubtedly a great scientist, but was this because he was a Muslim, or was it coincidental that he was a Muslim? Subboor seems to claim this shows Islam to be pro-science. Let's look at Alan Turing. He was a computer scientist whose work helped shorten the Second World War and save hundreds of thousands of lives. He was also a gay atheist. What would Subboor say if the gay community said his achievements were because he was gay, or the atheist community said his achievements were because he was atheist? Subboor would say that those personal issues were irrelevant to his achievements. This next video describes Charles Darwin as being a racist. This is wrong on many ways, but also, even if he was the most vile person, this wouldn't detract from his scientific theories in any way. Nobody looks up to Charles Darwin as a prophet whose behaviour is to be copied and justified. That's what happens in religion, not science. The next video is too ridiculous and too insulting to people's intelligence to show. Subboor talks about Otto Benga and how supposedly Darwinists put him in a cage with an orangutan to suggest he was a missing link. He's completely not understanding that he was brought from Africa and was put into a cage with an orangutan as a lampoon on Darwinism. He was used to criticize Darwinism, not to support it.